Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the program today, with all the problems the Republicans appear to be having, we have Nevada's junior United States Senator, Ray Hagar, has the rundown.
Thanks, Sam. Today's guest is Senator John Ensign, who they say in Washington has the perfect hair. But we're going to ask him about Jack Carter, the son of the former president, who may run against him for the Senate. Mr. Carter has admitted drug use in his youth. We're wondering if this is going to be a factor in the election.
And coming up on the Power Pundit panel today, Bob Fisher, Lisa Foster, and Mylan Hawkins. It's all coming up next on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe-Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
Corporations moving to the Tahoe-Reno Industrial Center require reliable power, fiber optic communication, and clean water sources. And yet, there's another amenity we're very proud of here at TRI, rail service. So far, we've built over 2 miles of railroad track, and another 3.6 is under construction. When companies need to transport freight, we're going to help them move it quickly and efficiently. Welcome to the Tahoe-Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
The resort at Red Hawk offers you 2 great dining choices. Experience David's Grill and Sports Bar or the Steakhouse at Red Hawk. The Steakhouse has received the Wine Spectator Award of Excellence based on a diverse selection of fine wines. To accompany the wines, the Steakhouse serves certified Angus beef steaks in a variety of cuts, fresh fish, chicken, and pasta dishes. For fun and casual dining, come to David's Grill and Sports Bar. David's is open 7 days a week, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The resort at Red Hawk. Always the right choice.
As an employer, did you know you can be held liable for negligent hiring? A background screening by Employer Links can uncover criminal records, like alcohol and drug convictions. It can verify the applicant's education, driving records, and professional licenses. Employer Links can check civil records, registered sex offender records, and Social Security fraud. Hiring the right person shouldn't be a gamble. Call Employer Links. Employer Links, protecting your investment.
So, who do you use for workers' comp?
Pro Group Management.
Ah, I've heard some good things about them.
Oh, you bet. Employee background checks, safety training, claim seminars. Oh, and here's the great part. If you have an issue, they work for you, not against you.
Sounds perfect. And expensive.
Well, that's the best part. They saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
Works for me. Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And we welcome to the Newsmakers today our United States Senator John Ensign, running for re-election in the year 2006. Welcome to the program, Senator.
Good to be with you, Sam.
All right, let's start out with Harriet Miers. A couple of weeks ago, you were undecided on Miers' nomination. What are your feelings today?
Well, I think that we have to take a wait-and-see attitude. We don't know a lot about Harriet Miers. The president does, but each individual senator has to make up his or her own mind. And I have a meeting coming up, I think it's next week, with Harriet Miers. I have a lot of questions for her. I want to see that not only her qualifications, we'll be able to read about those. We'll be able to read and hear from people about whether she has the right intellect and things like that. But what I want to hear is how does she look at the Constitution? Does she look at it as the role of a judge? And the role of the judiciary is to interpret the Constitution instead of making laws. In the Constitution, it specifically states that the role of lawmakers is reserved for the legislative branch. That's the branch that I serve in, and that is not for the judicial branch. Unfortunately, for the last 50 years, the judiciary has become the lawmakers in and of themselves, and that's why there's so much importance put on a Supreme Court justice and their nomination today.
Well, were you surprised at the consternation amongst the right wing with this nomination?
Well, I think that it's because the conservatives in the United States were looking for somebody that they knew something about, because too many times in the past with Supreme Court justices that have been put up, they were portrayed to be one way and they turned out to be a completely different justice once they got on the court. So conservatives were looking for somebody that they could count on, that they were not going to be a judicial activist, and unfortunately that has not been the case with with several of the recent nominations.
You've been a great supporter of President Bush. President Bush asked you to trust him. Do you?
I think that this is too big of a vote just to trust the president or to trust anybody else. This is something that each individual senator has to vote their conscience on, and that's exactly what I'm going to do based on what I hear from Harriet Miers in the hearings as well as my private conversations with her.
Senator, in editorials in both the Christian Science Monitor and the Wall Street Journal, it's been suggested that Washington insiders don't like Ms. Miers because she is not part of the Harvard Yale law fraternity that seems to permeate Washington. She got her law degree at SMU. As a Westerner, do you see any East Coast snootiness as part of the factor of opposition against Ms. Miers?
You know, I've seen a lot of criticism in a lot of different ways about Ms. Miers, and I think most of it is unfair, and that's why I've taken a wait-and-see attitude. I want to give her her fair day. Let's have the hearing process play out. Let's find out what she's really made of, but don't go in saying I'm going to vote for her right away without knowing about her, but don't go in saying I'm going to vote against her because we don't know about her. I think that she deserves to go through the process, and we'll see whether she deserves support at the end of the day.
Okay, let's get to an election question here, Senator, if we may. Jack Carter, who may run as a Democrat against you, he told Ann Jeanette Damon of the Reno Gazette-Journal that while he was in the Navy, about 19, 20 years old, he smoked marijuana and also had tablets of LSD. Do you think this will be a campaign issue? And if he does meet you in the general election, will you use this comment against him?
Well, first of all, he's not an announced candidate, and I don't necessarily think it's appropriate to comment on things that he may or may have not done until he's a candidate. But listen, all of us have made mistakes in our past, and it's a question of whether we learn from those mistakes and you know, whether we turn our lives around. And I know that I've made mistakes when I was young. You know, maybe different mistakes than he's made, but that'll be up to the voters to decide if he indeed becomes a candidate.
Well, Senator, respectfully, you talk about your youth, and so is Mr. Carter. When you were younger at any time, did you smoke marijuana or drop the LSD?
No, I've never done anything like LSD or anything like that. But
I was going to ask you, what was it like? I don't.
Yeah, no, there were certainly things that I did when I was a teenager that I regret today. And I'm trying to raise my kids in a different way, being honest with them, and tell them the pitfalls of mistakes that I made. Without, you know, I don't need to get into anything personal what I did, but I certainly use some of the examples with my own children to try to steer them away from mistakes that I made.
And there we'll take a break. We'll come right back with Senator John Ensign right after this.
For a videotape copy of any Nevada Newsmakers program, call 775-857-2244. The tapes are $20 each, including shipping.
For more than a decade, the Southern Nevada Water Authority has been helping the community embrace conservation as a way of life. That includes replacing more than 50 million square feet of grass with water-smart landscaping. During the worst drought on record, watering restrictions and tough landscaping codes have reduced the community's water use by billions of gallons, even as thousands of new residents were moving into Nevada. That's smart water management, and that's our promise to Nevada.
Happy Hour at the Peppermill.
Thanks to an ongoing commitment by America's mining companies, more than 2 million acres already have been reclaimed. To learn more about reclamation or other aspects of mining, visit nma.org. The National Mining Association.
Island Inkjet is now open on South Meadows Parkway. Island Inkjet will refill your inkjet cartridges in just 1 hour. We have the ink to precisely match over 240 cartridges, saving you up to 60% on the cost of buying a new cartridge. Our work is 100% guaranteed, and contrary to what you may have heard, refills do not void any printer warranties. You don't throw out your car when it runs out of gas. Don't throw out your cartridges. Refill them at Island Inkjet on South Meadows Parkway by Smith's.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're rejoined by Senator John Ensign. Senator Ensign, Sig Roglic was on the program last week, and he spoke about how both parties seem to have lost track of their ideology. For example, that the Democrats used to be the party of big ideas, and the Republicans were the fiscal conservatives. Would you handle the fiscal conservative side?
Well, there's no question that I believe that many here in Washington in my own party have lost focus on what I believe is the core principles of being a Republican, and that is a limited, smaller government. And I've been fighting for those principles up here, and I believe that we should refocus our efforts, for instance, on Katrina. Katrina is going to be a huge spending bill, and there are a lot of people down there that need help. And we should use this as the opportunity to show that we are fiscally conservative and fiscally responsible to the next generation by saying that while we have to do some help down there, we're going to offset that with spending cuts in other areas. We're putting together a package. I'm working with several other senators right now to put together a package of spending cuts to offset the spending that's going to happen in the Gulf Coast region.
What would those spending cuts entail?
We've got a whole list of things, but just an example. We just had a vote recently on the Senate floor to freeze members of Congress's pay raise. It's a small amount of money, but it's very symbolic that we shouldn't be getting a pay raise when we have these huge deficits. And for the first time, I think that Congress is actually going to freeze its own pay raise. What about the tax? And I think that all federal employees should do the same thing this year. We should have a freeze on or at least a cut in the COLA for all federal employees. We should look at the entitlement programs as well as what are called the discretionary programs or the appropriations bills. We're proposing a 5% cut across the board for non-defense discretionary spending with 1%. In that 5%, you would have a kind of a 1% fund that the real high priority items such as veterans health care would not be cut. The things that really need our help right now, but we should be able to go in and find enough waste in our government to be able to cut out 5%. That should not be that difficult.
When you refer to entitlements, which ones would you refer to? You're not talking about Social Security, are you?
No, you're looking at, there are many things that can happen in Medicare right now. For instance, the new prescription drug benefit. We're going to put a proposal on the table. That has not gone into effect yet. And what we can do is we can delay it going in for a year or two. If you delay it for 2 years, you save $80 billion. Even by giving, for instance, today, low-income seniors that have the prescription drug discount card, allow them to keep that, and you can even double their subsidy from $600 a year to $1,200 a year, and you still save $80 billion. I think that's a fiscally responsible thing to do.
And lastly, on this issue, tax cuts. Are we still going to see those tax cuts go through that the president wants?
Well, the tax cuts, as far as helping or hurting the deficits, remember the tax cuts helped the deficit. They actually reduced the deficit because what you did is you cut tax rates. And when you cut tax rates, that helped the economy and produced more tax revenues coming into the federal government. So the tax rates and holding those down to make sure that businesses have more money to invest in the economy and create more jobs. When there are more jobs, there's more people paying taxes, more revenue comes into the federal government. So it's important that we have the right kinds of economic policies in place that keep the American economy strong, and the president's tax cuts, which I voted for, are a big part of that economic policy.
Senators, you know the president's approval ratings are very low. He's got issues with Hurricane Katrina, the war in Iraq, Tom DeLay, Bill Frisch. When you run for re-election next year, do you think that you would invite Mr. Bush to Nevada to campaign on your behalf. You were there for him when Dick Cheney came here for the Social Security issue. Will you ask the president to be there for you next year?
Oh, I'd be more than honored to have the President of the United States come out and campaign for me. I think the President has been a great leader on many, many issues, especially the global war on terrorism. But as far as issues, there are many issues that I disagree with the President on and have been very vocal on disagreeing with him on several issues. But as far as a leader is concerned, I think he's been a tremendous leader for this country.
Senator, besides Harriet Miers, what other issues do you disagree with our Commander-in-Chief?
Well, the most obvious one has been on Yucca Mountain. We have gone toe-to-toe on many different fronts on the Yucca Mountain issue, and will continue to battle him. The administration has, not President Bush himself personally, but the administration has been trying to go after the money, the legislation that I wrote on Southern Nevada public lands money. That's money that literally billions of dollars for our state that we are going to try to keep in our state, and senators from other states as well as the administration want to use it for deficit reduction. At least that's what they say. They will actually, the senators from other states will actually just take that money and use it for spending in their states instead of actually reducing the deficit. But we're going to make sure to fight the administration and other senators to keep that money at home.
Well, go ahead, Senator, saying all that, would it help you or hinder you if President Bush came here for your re-election bid?
I'd be honored to have President Bush, and I think that each candidate has to win or lose their own election. But I'd be more than honored to have President Bush come into our state and to campaign for me.
We've got about a minute left in the window here, Senator. You're getting a lot of praise for the Ensign McCain bill that's going to reform the telecommunications industry. Would you give us just one highlight of that bill that's going to benefit the public?
Yeah, this is a reform of all of our telecommunications laws to modernize them to reflect the technology that is out there today. For instance, consumers would have more choice on phone service. The cable companies and various other places could offer more competition to the local phone company to be able to get lower prices for your local phone service and long-distance phone service. But also, you will have competition for television and television programming coming into your home. The phone companies would be able to offer and compete with the cable companies, and you'll be able to get better service at lower prices if there's more competitors in the marketplace. And what we do in our legislation is we remove a lot of the barriers to new people wanting to offer more services to consumers at better prices.
And do you think that this is going to pass out this year?
We actually think that it's going to be on the floor next year. It is critical that the United States Congress pass this legislation because we are falling farther and farther behind on what's called broadband deployment or high-speed internet to our homes and our businesses. The United States 2 years ago was 11th in the world, which is unacceptable. Instead of catching up, we're now 16th in the world. Just for anybody that has, and you'll see advertised on television, the highest speed that you can get in the United States is 5 megabits per second.
And Senator,
that's one of the ways that we relate. Well, in Japan, the standard is 100.
Senator, I apologize, but the satellite window is about to close, and I don't want to cut you off in mid-sentence, which I obviously just did. But we welcome you back anytime. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Senator.
We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, just 10 minutes east of Sparks. We're proud that Walmart and other Fortune 500 companies have chosen Tahoe Reno Industrial Center to relocate their businesses. We have sites from under 5 acres to well over 500 acres, and with all of the amenities that every successful corporation requires. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, and we're building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
The
Nevada Beer Wholesalers encourages the responsible consumption of beer. The Nevada Beer Wholesalers Association are sponsors and participants in many community-based efforts such as school education programs, Safe Ride Home, recycling programs, alcohol-free after-prom and graduation parties, safe voting campaigns, and designated driver programs. They are family-owned businesses employing 2,000 Nevadans. They also collect and pay the state excise tax. The Nevada Beer Wholesalers Association, delivering more than just beer.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
And on our Power Pundit panel today, Mylan Hawkins, Vice President of Interface Computer Associates. Bob Fisher is the President and CEO of the Nevada Broadcast Association. And Lisa Foster is Deputy Chief of Staff to Governor Guinn. Welcome to all of you. I just wanted a quick comment from you, Bob, on Senator Ensign's telecommunications bill. What's your thought on it?
Senator Ensign has done his homework. Senator Ensign has done just a tremendous amount of research. I mean, this is an area that he loves. This is an area that he's become an expert. And we're very, very pleased that we have a senator who's on the influential Commerce Committee. He's doing some really good work.
Ray, you want to jump in here?
Well, yes, and Lisa, I had an issue for you. Is that last week, Anjanette Damon in the Reno Gazette-Journal wrote a story about where the governor has a gas-guzzling SUV that he gets from a local car dealer as a trade-out. And the issue was, well, why is he driving such a gas guzzler? But my issue was that why is the governor taking a free car from a car dealer? That's not a perk that any other person in state government gets, and I just think it's kind of outlandish that he takes a free car.
You know, I think it's something that's always been done in Nevada, and I don't think that the dealers feel that they are doing anything beyond what they do in other states. I think this is just a typical thing that happens around the country.
But Lisa, okay, that car that he drives, the SUV, it's got to be, what's it cost, $30,000 to $50,000? If you went to the governor and plopped down 50 grand, 30 grand and said, Governor, use this in any way you want, you would probably get prosecuted by the Attorney General if you could find him. But, you know,
I've got to step in here and say that I don't view that in the same way that you do, Ray. I think that this is...
Because you're a conservative.
I am... Depends on what the issue is. But I think that this is a donation by these car companies to the state. It's not to the governor personally. He's not accepting a bribe.
Yeah, but he's the only guy that gets a free car. And when I go back to the public perception, it's the same way with Joe.
Can I jump in on this,
yeah,
Ray?
Please do.
I really think in a case like this that a car dealer has given a car to the people of the state of Nevada for the governor's use. That was one less automobile that we had to buy.
Absolutely.
And the governor doesn't get to take that car with him when he leaves office.
Yeah, but what if this car dealer wants a favor from the governor? Say, hey, Gov, I gave you $50,000.
Well, you know, that's a problem that we have when people contribute to campaigns. We can ask exactly the same question, that if I contribute $2,000 to your campaign, do I own you? You know, this is a thing that we need to look at, not just with the fact that a car was given or that a plate was given or a set of dishes was given to the governor's mansion.
I just think it's a public perception. It looks bad that a car dealer is giving the governor a free car. The governor is wealthy enough. Well, who's using it? But then the state, why does the state just buy one more car and get rid of this issue?
Because the state may not have the money, and I think the question really is, how much money did that dealership save the state? I think that we need to look at what was budgeted for it and what was saved.
Okay, I'd like to move on because I think
And I think most people are used to this happening for many, many, many years and view it the way
it doesn't make it right, Lisa.
Viewing it, that it does save the state.
Well, there's an honest disagreement here. Okay, Judith Miller, released from jail, turmoil at the New York Times. Robert, you and I were staunch defenders of Miss Miller. She spent 85 days in jail. More for me as a symbol of needing a federal shield law, but the wheels have come off this train.
You think? Yeah, it appears that they have, and I think that people who are journalists and who are broadcasters may be a little disappointed because we really thought we were gonna move forward.
Well, you know, this is another blow for the New York Times. I mean, the series of articles that came out this weekend show that the editor, Bill Keller, would not be involved in the meetings discussing Judith Miller's case because he was having to go into the newsroom and deal with reporters who were working on the actual story, and he didn't want to have information that he couldn't then pass on to his reporters. This is crazy.
I predict that Judith Miller will never again work for the New York Times. They don't want her around. She was the person who misled them and led them down the road of front-page stories about weapons of mass destruction. And now, the key question that they asked her is, in her notebook there was a name, Valerie Flame, which was close to the outed CIA operative. But when they asked her who gave her that name, she couldn't recall. She had 80 days in jail to think about it, and she still can't recall. Give me a break.
Yeah, I think that it really is. She may not work for another newspaper ever again, period. I mean, if you have already come up with information in what is considered to be a very credible newspaper, with the weapons of mass destruction story. Obviously, that was being fed to her. Obviously, she was in support of what was being given to her. And, you know, she too may be a victim, but there is a point where intelligent people begin to know which side they really have to be on, particularly in the area of journalism. Wouldn't you agree?
I would agree. I almost think that it's like 2 and 2 equals 7. It looked like she was going to the mat. I mean, look at the time that she served. And now?
Well, I just hope that the federal shield law bills do not get derailed in this process, because it will be very unfortunate. And I don't think the whole story is out there yet. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers.
Mouthpiece for the administration.
We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
South Reno's hotspot for food, fun, and friends is the Tamarack Junction. Play over 480 of the hottest slots and video poker games. Enjoy hot times and sizzling food specials at Sully's Sports Bar, Grill, and Nightclub. Watch your favorite game on one of our jumbo high-definition plasma TVs. Enjoy great food 24 hours a day in the Dining Car Restaurant. Or sample the best hot and cold sandwiches in the Whistle Stop Deli. The Tamarack Junction is your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway. Yeah.
Island Inkjet is now open on South Meadows Parkway. Island Inkjet will refill your inkjet cartridges in just 1 hour. We have the ink to precisely match over 240 cartridges, saving you up to 60% on the cost of buying a new cartridge. Our work is 100% guaranteed, and contrary to what you may have heard, refills do not void any printer warranties. You don't throw out your car when it runs out of gas. Don't throw out your cartridges. Refill them at Island Inkjet on South Meadows Parkway by Smith's.
And as always, remember you can watch Nevada Newsmakers online at nevadanewsmakers.com if you ever miss a show.
Sam, tomorrow we have Bill Dressel. He's the president of the National Judicial College, and we have Howard Rosenberg, the effervescent Board of Regents.
Let's see if we can get him going tomorrow. Thanks for watching.
Not the Board of Regents, the Regents.